Hello, I'm Andrew Flushy, your Virginia Traffic and Misdemeanor Defense Attorney. A friend asked me a great question the other day that I want to try to answer for you. When is it okay to pass on a solid yellow line? The answer might surprise you. The general rule in Virginia and everywhere as far as I'm concerned in the United States is that you can't cross a solid line. So solid line, whether it's white or yellow, means don't cross. Dashed line generally means that you can change lanes or pass someone. Also, a solid yellow line divides the road, obviously, between traffic going two different ways, and typically means you can't cross that line. However, there are a couple exceptions. The one notable exception that is very clear under the law in Virginia is that if you're coming upon a pedestrian or a vehicle moved by human power, so a bicycle or a scooter, like that's a foot scooter, something like that, or a wheelchair, things like that, you can pass a pedestrian or a human-powered vehicle on a solid yellow line as long as it's otherwise safe to do so. So the best example is if you're going through the country, there's no traffic coming, you can see for a good distance, there's a pedestrian running or walking or a bicyclist or something along those lines in your lane, you can go over the solid yellow line to pass that person as long as it's otherwise safe, there's no oncoming traffic, and you give enough berth to the person that you're passing. For a bicyclist case, you have to give at least 3 feet of berth as you pass around them. There's a clear exception in the law that allows that, so people don't feel like they have to be stuck behind a pedestrian or a bicyclist. You can legally cross the solid yellow line for that. The one question, though, that comes up is what about something like a trash truck or a mail truck? These vehicles go very slow along the road, they stop frequently. Can you pass those vehicles on a solid yellow line? The answer, in my opinion, is actually unclear. Virginia law does allow that you can pass a garbage truck or a mail vehicle. You can go to the left of the roadway basically to pass around them if there's no line. So on a road where there's no line, I think it's very clear that you can pass them as long as it's otherwise safe to do so. And you can go on the wrong side of the road, so to speak, to pass them. But there's no specific exemption that actually says you can do it if there's a solid yellow line in the way. So on a lot of roads, there's a yellow line, and if the trash truck especially is taking up the whole lane where you would have to cross the solid yellow line, it's unclear to me in Virginia law if you could actually do that legally. Now let's say that most judges that I know, and most officers for that matter, probably wouldn't get bent out of shape if it's otherwise safe to do so. There's a clear opening, the trash truck stopped doing its business, and you nudge around them carefully and cautiously. But I don't think that there's actually a clear exemption in the law to allow you to do that. So if there is a case where it's a close call, definitely don't pass. You don't want to endanger anyone, obviously, and also if you get a ticket, I don't know that there's actually a clear exemption for you to be able to pass on a solid yellow line a mail truck or a trash truck. So to recap, don't cross solid yellow lines is the general rule, as everyone probably knows from driver's ed. But if there is a pedestrian or a vehicle moved by human power, you can cross a solid yellow line to pass that vehicle or pedestrian as long as it's otherwise safe, and you give at least 3 feet for a bicycle. However, if it's something like a mail truck or a trash truck, you probably shouldn't cross the solid yellow line unless it's very, very safe to do so. And frankly, I wouldn't do it unless you really have no other choice. A lot of times those vehicles will try to get out of the way as soon as they have a chance to let traffic go by so they don't clog up the roadway. They tend to be very respectful of people needing to get around. So be careful out there on the roadways. Don't cross solid yellow lines except when there's a clear exemption allowing you to do so.